Hi there, this is Nicole Dyer, and this is the Research Like a Pro question and answer series. And today, Diana is going to talk about using AI to track county boundary changes. And she's going to share an example from her Weatherford research. And this is a project she's been doing in the Research Like a Pro with DNA Study Group. And so it should be helpful to see a case study and see how it can apply to using AI to help us to understand the locality better so that we can then find extant records and look in the right places to find the things we need. This is an excerpt from the recent Research Like a Pro office hours. And so you'll hear Diana talking about the monthly tip and that kind of thing. And so if you're interested in joining us in our Research Like a Pro or Research Like a Pro with DNA online courses, you would have access to all of these monthly office hour sessions and be able to submit questions as well. All right, enjoy the video.
And because the theme of this month is locality research and ethnicity, I thought I would give a tip for locality research. And because of the project that I'm working on, I thought it would be fun to talk a little bit about tracking county boundary changes and using AI to help us with that. As we're doing our locality guides, we always want to put in information about county boundary changes, but sometimes we have a lot of complicated dates and changes. And so it could be the AI could help us. So I have some ideas for that. Let's talk about some of the challenges with these county boundaries. In the United States and in other countries too, we see boundaries that are just changing. They start really large, and then as more and more people move in, they change those boundaries. And you could have a county that has a parent county, but then it could also be the parent county. And so things could be split and moved around a lot. And so sometimes it can be very confusing to know exactly which county you should be looking in for your records. And we often hear that you should look at all the counties round about your county if you are having trouble finding records. And so it's really good to know what all of those different counties could be when they were created, which ones could actually have some records. So, how can AI help us with this? Well, the AI models now are getting really good at quickly searching the web, and you can be very specific in your prompt so that you can have them really focus in on what you would like. But then the great thing about after they have found the information is you can have the AI compile that in a way that you can actually put into your locality guide and save it for you to use in the future. So some of the ways I like to have AI compile information would be bullet points or tables. Those are two of my favorites. And another thing that we can ask AI to do for those different counties is to try to seek out the information about when records were created. Because as we know, sometimes counties records start different years depending on when they started keeping track of things or if there was a burn county and when things are actually available versus when they were supposedly created. So let's look at an example. My current research project is centered in Arkansas and Izard County. So here's my original locality guide, the little bit about background here at the beginning. And you can see that I took this information from Family Search from the wiki, and I took this table, and this is a burn county. So even though this county was organized in 1825 because of the record loss, there is nothing for me to use past or before 1889 except for the census. So the census is great, but obviously I'm missing a lot of key records here. So when I am doing a research project, would it be helpful to know about the neighboring counties that are listed here and the parent counties? Well, yes, of course it would be very helpful, but there are a lot of different counties there. And so, that can be time consuming to go get all of that information. And I thought it would be really interesting to see if AI could gather that quickly for me and organize it for me. So I am using Claude AI here, and this is a model that I really enjoy using. It's 3.7 Sonnet, which is their most advanced model. And I do have the Pro plan, and I use it for so many different things that for me it's worth it. But you can also do a lot with their basic plan. I do use the extended thinking and the web search. So both of these you can turn on and then it will take more time. So let's just look at my prompt here. So I said, I'm researching Izard County, Arkansas, and need to have information about county boundary changes for it and the counties surrounding it. Provide sources for all the information gathered and create a table displaying the information. The first column should be the name of the county, the second, the date of its creation. The third column should be the parent county or counties of more than one, and the fourth column should be the source of the information. So you can see over here that because of extended thinking, the model was starting to think about it, taking a little bit of time to create a plan. And then it shows me the different sources. So if I were to open each one of those up where it says results, it would give me the sources for that. So it started off with Izard County, and then it started searching for the surrounding counties, and then searched for details on each of the counties that were created from parts of Izard, and then on other surrounding counties. And so this goes on for another page or so. And then I realized that I also wanted to have a table in the table, a column showing the dates for the records. So I added a next follow-up prompt where I said, I asked it for the probate, land, marriage, birth, death, and tax record dates. And so again, it was thinking about adding the earliest available dates, and it searched county by county and had 10 results for each one. And then it made the table for me. So this is what the table looks like. And for each county, it did have the date of creation, the parent county. It tells me when the records were available and the sources. So here we can see a source was the Encyclopedia of Arkansas for Izard County. And in some quotes, it gives me some specific information. It's going into Family Search to get the information that I had already and showed you, and then going into the Arkansas Department of Health. So this was really helpful, but now I wanted to get this into my locality guide. So there are a couple of tricks to get your information into your locality guide. And one of those is to use what we call markdown. And I do all my locality guides in Google Docs. And so uh, I can enable Markdown in Google Docs by doing the following. You go to Tools and then Preferences and then Enable Markdown. You just have to toggle it in. And then once you've done that in one Google Doc, then it works for all of them. And then whenever you want to paste something from AI, like a table, and have it keep the formatting, then all you do is go to Edit and just select Paste from Markdown. If you don't do this, then you get your table brought in kind of a weird looking format. It doesn't even look like a table. And so when you do paste it from Markdown, then the Google Doc knows what to do with the information that AI is giving it. Now, if you want to bring in something to Word, then you use Writage. Writage is a one-time fee program that you download, and then it's added to your toolbar. And then from there, you can paste from Markdown. And so, at first when I heard about this, I didn't know if I wanted to bother with it, but it's really easy and it is amazing because then you bring in your information from AI so much easier into your docs. So let me show you an example um, of how I use the boundary changes and learning more about Izard County and the parent county in my current project. So here's Izard County, and it's up here in the kind of the central north part of Arkansas. And as I showed you before, it has a lot of neighboring counties all the way around it. And so when I had put into my locality guide this table that AI created for me, I was able to just at a glance see where records could be held. And so here I see that Izard's parent county is Independence County. And Izard, has that record loss, so it's just really difficult to find much. And when I looked at surrounding counties, I saw the same thing, that many of them also had records starting much later. In this case, Baxter County, it wasn't created until 1873, so that county is not going to hold anything of use for me. Fulton County, however, was created quite early in 1842, but it also is a burned county and nothing is available until much later. So I am probably going to want to go take a look at Independence County. So here's my objective that I've been working on, and I am using DNA. So I wrote, using DNA and documentary evidence, test the hypothesis that William Weatherford of Izard County, Arkansas, is the father of Henderson Weatherford. And you can see William was born quite early. He was born about 1780, 1790, and was present on the 1830 census of Izard County. Henderson was born about 1815 in Tennessee and died about 1862 in Dallas County, Texas. He married Clumsy Klein in about 1838 in Izard County, Arkansas. So I have pieced together all of this information from tax records, which were kept on the state level and didn't burn, thankfully, and the census record, and which was on the federal level. And, of course, we have that. So I'm putting all this together based on those sources. Now, let's take a look at Independence County and what can it offer. Having learned that it is the parent county of Izard County, I see it was created in 1820 and it actually has records available early. So apparently it was not a burned county. Hallelujah. Because we've got marriage and probate, 1826, 1839, and there are tax records I could go look at. The AI couldn't find specific dates. And then I see something else that's very interesting. That Independence County itself has a parent county going even further back, Lawrence County. So this could be another county. So now I've identified Independence and Lawrence as two possible early counties to track that William Weatherford. So as we are taught to do in Research Like a Pro, we do our timeline. And here's my timeline in Airtable. And I've got William born 1780, 1790 based on that 1830 census. I have a War of 1812 record that I am completely up in the air about whether it is for him, but I put it in here so I wouldn't forget. Because Henderson said he was born in Tennessee, it's very possible this is the right one. It's also very possible it's not the right one, but I don't want to forget about it, so I put it in here. Now, the other records you can see are all Izard County, and they are tax records, and they're just right in a row. 1829, 1830, 31, and 32, and then he disappears. So I really need to go back in time and try to find out, when did he actually end up in Arkansas? When did he come to Arkansas? And Izard County, this is about when they started keeping the records. So I want to see if maybe he was in that parent county of Independence. So again, here's Independence. It was created early, and there are records early that could have William Weatherford. So, whoops, I went the wrong way. So I next decided to try full text search, because in Family Search we can do this and do a really quick look and just see if our person is there. So if I did a full text search just for William Weatherford in Arkansas, there are a lot of hits. But now that I know Independence is a likely place for him, I can specify Independence and the year range. I always like to give it a pretty big range, and it pulled up 8 records. And here we're seeing 3 of these, and these are court records. And so there is a collection on Family Search that is Independence, Arkansas court records as early as 1821, going up to 1844. Well, this is, needless to say, really exciting to find this individual there that early. And so I extracted all the information and added those to my research log and found that he was there in 1821 or 1822, all the way up until 1825. And then he disappears from the records. And then he next starts showing up in Izard County in 1828, right when the boundary changed. So I can now hypothesize that he probably didn't move. It's just the county boundary changed, and now the records are going to start being in Izard County. And so this was just an exciting find that I have now moved a little bit further back in time. The other great thing about these court records, I have a whole list of fan club members, friends, associates, and neighbors, because they all list them as part of a jury or working on a road. And so I've got a nice list of people that were there as well early, and possibly his wife's family might be there, because we have no idea who she is. So this was, hopefully helpful to you, just to see an example of how boundary changes really do make a big difference. And I know we talk a lot about that, but when we really put it into practice, it can be amazing. And hopefully you saw how AI was really helpful in organizing that. And now I have that great table to help me as I continue doing research on this family.